Hello, it's Kevin here. Time for a video. This time we're going to look at a new topic. Well, relatively new for IELTS. So I have my example that we're going to have a look at, and 3 essays submitted by members of my Telegram group, IELTS 9 Pro. You can see them here. So there's a few things to talk about, and I've got some comments. I put some examiner comments down based on the criteria. I got someone else to do the comments for mine because But for the other students, there's some comments here. So we'll take a look at mine at first, and you can see how it kind of works. So we've got 2-part question. All right. Recent research suggests a majority of criminals who are sent to prison commit crimes after they are released. Why is this the case? What can be done to solve the problem? So all you need to do, as we keep saying, sentence 1, paraphrase the topic. Recent research suggests a majority of criminals reoffend. Answer the question. In my view, this is driven by limited employment. So I'm answering question 1. Answering question 2, what can be done? So usually you only need 2 sentences, but because this is a 2-part question, so sentence 1, paraphrase, answer the question, answer the question. That's it, pretty straightforward. And then explain it. A key reason is the difficulty they face in finding a job. So when they get out, they can't find a job. Why can't they find a job? Well, because they have low levels of education, which may well have contributed to them being involved in crime in the first place. So, main idea, explanation, example. So, I'm not going to read it all out. So you can pause it and kind of read it, but still, just to go through the main idea. So, the reason is, why do they go back to crime? They can't find a job. Why can't they find a job? Because they weren't very employable in the first place before they got involved with crime. Example kind of shows a lot of them, don't have any qualifications. So if you combine this with the stigma of being a criminal, if you go for the job and there's a long gap on your CV because you've been inside, and the employer says, "Oh, there seems to be quite a bit of a gap on your CV, Mr. Dean." Yeah, well, because I've just done a 5-year stretch for armed robbery. Ah, I see. Yes. So, anyway, you can see why it might limit their prospects for employment. Not everybody wants to employ a criminal or an ex-convict. So it pushes them back into crime, and they're not helped to integrate. In a lot of cases, they're just dumped out of prison and that's it. There's no help. So that's the reasons why, right? That's the reason. So they can't get jobs and they're not integrated. There's no support system. They're just dumped onto the streets. Okay, how can this be solved? Well, in prison, and I think, in the Netherlands and in the Scandinavian countries, I believe I've read about this, they have some proper training programs when you're inside. You can get qualifications, you can get degrees in some cases, I think. They train you how to do different skills. You can be an electrician, a plumber, or whatever. And then when you are released, you've got something that you can do. You know, you have some education, you've got some kind of skills, so it should be easier to find a job. And the state helps you when you get out. You're not just dumped onto the street, right? They've got some schemes, they've got some counselling, they can stick you in a house, they give some incentives to employers to employ you, etc. Okay. In conclusion, high rates of recidivism, falling back into crime, unemployment, inadequate reintegration, addressing these issues. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward, right? Pretty clear. So what's the assessment say? So task response, right? Let me just get my pen out. So fully addresses all parts, right? You've got 2 questions, answers both. The ideas are good and the examples support the points. Okay, now these are not my comments. These are from someone else. I didn't write this about my own essay. So, cohesion, coherence, information, there's a logical sequence, the paragraphing is good, cohesive devices. Vocabulary, there's some good vocab there. Recidivism, etc. I mean, like if you have a look at it, so again, you've got some good vocab here. Comprehensive post-release, prison-based vocational training. So, you know, inmates, prisoners, offenders, prisoners, you know, so there's quite a lot of different vocabulary here to talk about that. So it's important not to repeat the same words to avoid a repetition or undue repetition. So good vocab, no noticeable repetition, collocations, idioms, and the grammar's good. Also, highly effective essay, clear, insightful, logical arguments, examples, okay, and it flows. It's easy to read, the message is clearly understandable. So there you go. I was quite pleased with those comments. I say I didn't write I didn't write these. I promise you. Anyway, so I'll just put this on the screen, alright? So you can pause this if you like, and you can probably, can I get it all on the screen? Yeah. Okay. So that's only 298 words. So you can pause that and you can read it later if you wish. Okay, let me go on to the next one. So, our group members writing their response. Some changes on. Okay. Now this is 292 words. That's good. While large project windows, but it has been the topic of some studies. So sentence was good. Financial woes is, or financial woes are, the most important cause of this phenomenon. Government attempts to introduce economic policies and create job opportunities. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, we don't really need this. What's this got to do? So it's asking. So paragraph 2 should be answering question 1, which is, why do they go back into crime? Okay, so that's what it should be about. Why do they go back? So people are meant to say, maybe sent to jail, the spectrum to stealing a few dollars. Supermarket, okay, so they understand the society towards them. Okay, so first sentence, we don't really need. So we're getting to the point now. Skeptical about individuals with criminal records Looking what they've done, because they consider a minor probability of recurring. That's a bit awkward. Release people like this from a new source of income to have a dignified life. Towards achieving money from wrong ways. That's a bit awkward. Okay, so you can see it's not quite the same as mine, right? So what you need here, paragraph 2, is tell me why. Why did it go back? Okay, so this is a little bit vague. It's not as clear as it could be. So next paragraph should be answering the second question. How can that be fixed? How can that be solved? Government should devise some solutions. Okay, but what are they? Businesses often deal with high taxes and enough fund. Enough fund? What's that? Enough funding? That doesn't work. But what's that got to do with the topic? Businesses often deal with high taxes and enough fund. Will allocate more budget, receive less taxes to companies, from companies, which hire this group of people, creating new jobs workplaces which not deal with large amount of money of other people such as kids. And this is not very clear. By doing these on a business method more, but I sound reform, repeating crimes, not even on. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit vague. Alright, let's have a look. What's it say? So 6.5. Okay, task response 7 6 6 6 6. The main idea. Now again, these comments are not mine. They're from someone else, but it's awkward. There's some awkward kind of phrases, informal, kind of clear structure, errors. Now I wouldn't give that a 7 for task response. I probably wouldn't. I would give it 6, because as we can see, it is a little bit vague. You know, it's like we kind of get the general idea, but it doesn't get straight to the point, and it's a little bit vague about what it actually means. You've got this business that deal with high taxes. What's less taxes on companies, creating new jobs in workplaces which not so. I wouldn't give this a 7 personally. I wouldn't. I would give it a 6 because it's not very clear. It says 6.5. I would probably make it 6. I wouldn't give it 7 for task response. Anyway, let's continue. Now this next one, a little bit shorter, 262. So studies demonstrate that there's been released because it encourages to learn more about crime in prison. Okay, and also there's a lack of opportunities once to be released. That's one sentence. That's a long sentence. To reintegrate successfully, tackle issues should guarantee their future profession. Okay, that's a bit of a long sentence, but all right. Many opportunities in prison for criminals. So what you're saying is that a prison is essentially crime school, which is what lots of authorities actually say. Without strong programs of rehabilitation, what prison actually is, it's a college of crime. You go in and you learn about all kinds of crimes from the other people. So, not very good. So this opportunity keeps them from committing crime after prison. Many opportunities. This opportunity not only keeps from committing offence. So what? So it keeps them from committing a crime, but it also predisposes them to commit more crimes? That doesn't make sense, really, does it? So they can learn about crime, not only keeps them from committing offence, but you just said it predisposes them to commit more crime. So it's always offend or to commit a crime. So that doesn't make sense. Many professions refuse to accept those who have been in prison. No job opportunities. This person went to prison. What is this an example of? For instance, a person went to prison just because he couldn't afford his debts. So I would put that example there. In any case, I mean, it would be better to put that there. Yeah. And then that makes a bit more sense. This is a bit confusing, some structure there, some kind of grammar. With effective solution to deal with recommitting the crime. What recommitting crimes after being released is to hold in classes in prison. You don't need an article in front of prison. To provide an opportunity to show basic personality. Who's getting acquainted? The prisoner themselves or someone else? Job opportunities. Which can be performed with more control and supervision. Okay, so it's a little bit vague. Let's see what it says. Essay 2. What's it say? 6. Yeah, it's all kind of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Well, because it's repetitive, it's a little bit vague. Repetitive, awkward phrasing. I mean, it says it right. So the main reason, I mean, I probably would say, okay, so I would have probably given it 5.5, but the examiner gave it 6. It's a little bit vague. It's just too kind of vague. It's like, you know, it's not the same as mine. We've got clear ideas and clear explanations, but. Okay, so there's quite a few things that you could work on for that essay. So let's have a look at the third one. Now this next one is way too short. You automatically get a penalty for being under the count. Most fellows in prison usually comes again. Okay, that's a good introduction. Conclusion, single sentence, that's a bit short, and the main body again is too short. We know social problems, objectified society, you feel shamed. I mean, what little there is, I think it's good. I'm just having a look, it's good. I mean, you know, there's some good grammar, some good vocab, but only 203 words, that's just a little bit short. Now, it gives it 6.5. Now, this would definitely score more if it were longer. Cohesion, coherence, 777. This isn't bad. It's got some good vocabulary. It's got some good stuff in it. But because it's too short, you automatically drop at least 1 band score for task response. Maybe even 2. You know? But as it says, if there were more, this would certainly get a decent score because it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So make it longer, expand, etc. Okay, so you can see we've got a bit of a variety of response here. Okay, so I hope that gives you some ideas about what you're going to do, what you're going to be looking for. You can probably pause all this. So I'll just scroll down nice and easy. So 6.5, 777. Let's say I wouldn't give it 7 for task response personally. I would have given it 6 because it's developed, confusing. It's a little bit kind of vague. There's some awkward transitions, as it says. Okay, so you can see the feedback there and the suggestions. Okay, essay 2, estimated score a 6. I would probably give it 5.5, but 6, okay. Very general and vague. Okay, so that needs a bit of attention. And number 3, this would have certainly got more if it had been over 250 words. I think this is probably the best essay. It's way too short. As it says, it's got some well organized examples, minus of grammar, but the main thing is expand it. And this would certainly get a much better score. Okay, so I hope that gives you some ideas. You've seen mine. You can pause, you can rewind this, and you can have a read of my essay again. So I hope that gives you some ideas about how you can get high scores. Okay, there's a few different things there. You know, task, response, you need to clearly, I mean, if we go back to the report. So, fully address all parts with a clear, well-developed position, good ideas, specific examples, position is insightful, information, ideas, a logical sequence, wide range of cohesive devices, vocab to avoid repetition, not prisoners, prisoners, prison, 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 but a wide range of vocab there. The grammar, wide variety of structure. Okay, sentence forms. And it said highly effective, meets all the criteria for band 9 score. Clear, insightful, logical argumentation, relevant examples, vocab and grammar are handled with accuracy and sophistication. And most importantly, it flows naturally from introduction to conclusion. Okay, hope that helped. That's enough for me for today. So if you're watching on YouTube, links below, as always, all my different groups and websites, etc. I'm going to be recording a new podcast episode, kevsenglishpodcast.com, sometime today. It's a bit quiet for students. Monday, so it's Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I had lessons all day, OET, IELTS, people from all over the world. Today, I've just got a few this afternoon, a little bit quieter, but that'll give me time to make some material. So anyway, links below. If you want to contact me, if you've got any questions, feel free to do so. And I'll see you next time.